Good morning to all. How are you? It's Tuesday. It is January 16th and no shout outs on the books. So for the music today we're going to go to Leadbelly. Also, his real name was Hughie Ledbetter. And apparently he picked up the name Leadbelly maybe in prison. And he spent quite a few years in prison. He murdered a guy in a knife fight, and he was in prison 2 or 3 different times. And this song that I'm going to do today is called Goodnight Irene, and it's credited to Leadbelly. He picked it up from his uncle in the early 1900s, and his uncle, apparently it was written by a woman named Gussie Davis in 1886, and then Leadbelly's uncle turned him on to it, and Leadbelly changed everything around a little bit, lyrics, etc., like they do with those old folk songs. And he recorded it in 1933, and it was recorded in Angola prison by John Lomax, who at the time was driving around the South looking for old tunes to record by well-known people, not well-known people. It didn't matter. He was a fountainhead of all of those old tunes that came from Africa and Ireland and England, and so he recorded Leadbelly in prison, 1933, and it went on to be a big hit in 1950 by the Weavers, folk group. They recorded it and had a #1 hit with it in 1950. And apparently, my mother told me that I was about 1 year old at the time, and she had, sitting on top of the refrigerator, one of those little plastic radios by Westinghouse or GE that was, it never left the top of the refrigerator. She'd turn it on every morning and be listening to the news or the music. And she said that when this song would come on, that I would crawl over to underneath the refrigerator and stare up at the radio and listen to this tune. So my early music education from the Weavers. And the song went on to be recorded by Frank Sinatra and Keith Richards, Eric Clapton, Johnny Cash, Ernest Tubbs, Willie Nelson did it with the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band. It's been done by so many people. And so Leadbelly was the first major recording, 1933 in prison. So here's Goodnight Irene by various artists, but for our purposes today, we're talking Leadbelly. And here we go. Irene, good night. Irene, good night. Good night, Irene. Good night, Irene. I'll see you in my dreams. Last Saturday night I got married. Me and my wife settled down. Now me and my wife have parted. I'm gonna take another stroll downtown. Irene, good night. Irene, good night. Good night, Irene. Good night, Irene. I'll see you in my dreams. And sometimes I live in the country, and sometimes I live in the town. Sometimes I have a great notion to jump in the river and drown. Good night, Irene. Good night, Irene. I'll see you in my dreams. Quit your rambling and quit your gambling. Quit staying out late every night. Stay home with your wife and family. Sit down by the fireside bright. Irene, good night. Irene, good night. Good night, Irene. Good night, Irene. Yeah, I'll see you in my dreams. I asked your mother for you. She told me that you were too young. I wish to God I'd never seen your face. I'm sorry, I'm such a disgrace. Irene, good night. Irene, good night. Good night, Irene. Good night, Irene. I'll see you in my dreams. Irene, good night. Irene, good night. Good night, Irene. Good night, Irene. I'll see you in my dreams. You know I'll see you in my dreams. Oh, I'll see you in my dreams. Good night, Irene. And that's your Tuesday song. Check out Leadbelly's version. He was a master of the 12-string. He could really play that guitar, boy, and belt it out. So we'll see you guys tomorrow. Stay safe out there and keep on the sunny side. Bye-bye.